Hello, hello, and welcome to Your Holistic Earth podcast. My name is Kat Halushka, and I'm going to be your host for today. I'm super excited on today's episode where Michelle Bateman, the founder of Soul Journey, will be talking about self-love and confidence. She's the transformational soul coach, dynamic speaker, and facilitator of the powerful topics of self-love, the art of surrender, and 5 magic questions to create a life of the life you love. So first, let me tell you about Your Holistic Earth. Your Holistic Earth is the bridge that connects you to local and national experts in the field of holistic medicine. On each episode of the podcast, we're going to bring experts that are going to help you be healthier and have an increased sense of well-being. Thank you so much for coming on, Michelle. Welcome to the podcast. We're super excited to have this conversation because I know how important self-love and confidence is for us as entrepreneurs, but for us as women and human beings as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about what it is that you do and how do you help people?
So what got me into what I do today was my own personal journey of my life falling apart, thinking I'd never be happy again, and becoming just really bitter and disillusioned with life. And so in going through that, what I realized, it was what was going on with inside of me that was making me unhappy, not the external circumstances and the people in my life that I thought was causing it. It was once I went inside and realized where I was struggling with my own self-talk and my own beliefs and limitations that, we pick up over a lifetime that create the experience that we're living, that once you learn what you need to do to undo that, rewire that, reprogram that, your whole world changes. And so when I did that, my entire life changed from thinking I'd never be happy again to creating the most amazing life in every area, from work, from being a stay-at-home mom to buying my own house and providing for my kids, to then starting my own business. All of those things I never thought would be possible for me. But it was when I worked on what was going on within me that everything changed.
That's amazing. And this is such a common story, except for the point where you get better. Because I know there's so many women out there who are just like yourself. They just don't even think it's possible. And they don't dare to dream, right?
No, I didn't know I could have dreams. I just thought you just subscribe to this crappy life ride that you're on and that's all you get. But that's not the case. You can create anything at any time and overcome any obstacle. And so that's what made me passionate to share that with other women, because we don't know how to do that. Nobody teaches us how to do that, how to pick yourself back up when life kind of doesn't go the way that you want it to.
So when it comes to people working with you in general, I guess, where do you get them started? Because I'm sure there's at least one listener listening to the podcast right now and thinking, damn, that's my life right now. So where do they go from here?
So what I really start with the foundation is you. Right? And so many times people go to counseling and it's like, can you just fix my kids? Or can you just fix my boss? Or can you fix my spouse? And it's not about anybody else. It's about you. What's going on within you? Do you even know who you are? Because as women, we lose our identity in our roles as mom and kids and worker and housekeeper and dog poop cleaner upper. And we don't have our own identity. We don't know who we are and what we value and what we desire and want in the world. So getting clear from the foundation of who am I, what do I want, what do I desire, and then figuring out what are the blocks that are getting in the way of you moving forward, so that you can create the life that you love, and figuring out what that even looks like for you. Because often we just go along for the ride, or what society tells us we should do. And as women, there's so many stereotypes that are put on women and as men. You need to be successful and climb the corporate ladder and do the thing. And then women, you need to stay home and take care of your family, but that might not be what you want to do. So how do you get clear on what it is that really is authentic to me? And then what are the blocks that are getting in the way of you getting there? And once we clear those and remove those, then having the tools to then create what it is you want to have in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, I journaled on questions around that around my 20s, and it was life-changing. It truly was. And I needed more help, and I hired a coach, and that's what got me where I am today, a successful business owner, a successful woman business owner, right? Which is still somehow a concept that people are trying to grasp, that that's possible. And I love it when people come to me at the events or they come to some of the virtual events that we're hosting and they say, I want to be a successful woman just like you. And for me, the first thing was removing the word woman because
Mm-hmm.
there's such gender identity roles, right?
Oh, for sure.
But to become the person I am today, I had to learn to love myself. And
Yes,
that's what started
absolutely.
my journey of self-confidence. So I'd love it for us to talk about it. Like, what are some of the misconceptions that people have around the confidence and self-love and being who we are?
Well, we're taught from such a young age to, not think too much of yourself, or don't be arrogant, or don't be conceited, or don't be selfish. So all of that messaging bombards us from the time that we're little. So you can't walk around thinking that you're great and wonderful and amazing like you should, because it's misconstrued as being, arrogant and egotistical, and, good girls don't do that, and all of those things. But it's an epidemic of the amount of women that are so hard on themselves. And sometimes they outwardly look confident, but when you really get into the vulnerability with them, they're really hard on themselves. They're super critical. And sometimes the bigger the achiever, the more inward critical they are. And so that's what self-love isn't, right? You're not loving yourself when you're criticizing yourself and you're being hard on yourself and you are holding yourself to a standard that you would never hold anybody else to, right? If your girlfriend called, you'd be so supportive and so loving and so kind. Yet the minute it happens to you, you're like, oh my God, you're so stupid. I can't believe you did that. Who do you think you are? You can't accomplish that. Like, there's so much that goes on in our head that we think that we have to listen to that voice. And that voice runs the show. But what I teach my clients is that you get to decide what that voice says. And when that voice shows up, what do you do and how do you work with the voice to override it, to create what it is that you want to have in your life and in your business and having that success? Because confidence equates success and influence as a parent, as a partner, as a businesswoman, as a role in your job at work. All of those things contribute to the success, not necessarily just material success, but the success and influence and fulfillment that you have comes from how you feel about yourself and how you treat yourself, and then how you present yourself to the world.
Absolutely. I'm curious though here, like, what are some of the obstacles that you had to overcome to bring you here to become a coach in such a beautiful topic, really?
Oh, a lot, actually. So I had a dream for my life. I watched Disney and I thought, you know what? You marry the prince and you have babies and you live happily ever after, and that's your life. And going through my second divorce when I was just 40, I was mortified and I was so humiliated. And I thought, what are people going to think about me? They're going to think I am just the biggest failure and the biggest loser. And I thought I was the biggest failure and the biggest loser. And so I remember somebody telling me one day, they're like, Michelle, your past doesn't equal your future. I was like, what? And they said, just because something ends oh my God, it was one of those moments where your brain blows up and you're like, why didn't anybody tell me that sooner? No, yeah. He's like, your past can't dictate your future unless you let it. I was like, oh. And he said, just because something ends doesn't mean it was a failure. And so often we term a relationship that end a failed marriage, but it's not a failure. It's just an ending. And some things end, but that means there's something new that gets to begin. And so we forget to look at the possibilities and we only focus on what we're losing and what we don't have. So I really had to work on shifting my mindset in, no, I'm not a failure. No, I get a second chance. Now I can learn differently, to be differently, and create something else. And what's magical about that is that my struggles are now someone else's inspiration, because they see that I could have overcome that maybe they can too, that it's not too late for them. It's not hopeless for them. And it was people that I saw had overcome was what inspired me. And now I can do the same for others.
Yeah, and it's coming back to the concept that I mentioned of like what's possible. And I even know for myself in business, I didn't know what's possible until someone showed me. And so thank you for being inspiration and for sharing your story and for helping other people love themselves more and create the life that they deserve. I truly believe that you're an impact maker, and you're in the world creating positive impact. So thank you.
Oh, thanks so
So
much.
for those people who want to connect with you, where can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook under Soul Journey Transformations, Michelle Bateman, and that's where I post informational videos and questions and content to just really get your mind moving in the direction that you want it to go, and having those conversations that'll help you shift that internal dialogue that's going to help you create the results that you're looking for.
Awesome. For those of you who are ready to take your life or business to the next step, become more confident, love yourself more, overcome your limiting beliefs, and shift your mindset into success, make sure you go connect with Michelle, reach out to her, have a conversation. She's an incredible expert. Don't forget to check out other episodes of Your Holistic Earth over at profitableimpactacademy.com/YHE, and have a healthy day.